All right, so how y'all doing? Welcome to Three Count Commentaries. It's your boy Mongo Slade. Today we're going to talk about Seth Rollins and Cesaro. So Seth Rollins comes out to preach, as he always does, and he talked about his complaint to management and how his complaint to management trended all over social media, whatever. So Cesaro comes out there, and I like that he almost immediately turned into a weasel when Cesaro came out there. He started backing away, like, oh no, no, no. I don't want this. I don't want this problem. He starts talking about how, him and Cesaro go back a long time. They're old friends, they're buddies. Cesaro has misunderstood everything that he's been saying. Cesaro is being lied to. Twitter, he didn't call Cesaro a loser. Twitter blew that out of proportion, even though he really did call Cesaro a loser. And it was great. So Cesaro kind of paused and was like, okay, I want to hear him out. So Seth Rollins had an opportunity to talk. And before we get into what Seth Rollins was talking to Cesaro about, his suit, now I've been saying again, if you dress like everyone else, they treat you like everyone else. Seth Rollins has started dressing very ridiculous, and it's great. All right, it is excellent. Now it is not, it's not as weird as Kenny Omega. Like Kenny Omega is going very far. He's like something out of a medieval fair. Like the elf shoes and the Peter Pan shirt. It's just like the worst shit in the world. Uh, Seth Rollins, it just looks slimy all the time. Like he just looked like he's up to no good. So he continues this character when he starts talking about how he wants to lead SmackDown. And the first person he wants to lead is Cesaro. Because he looks at Cesaro and Cesaro has it all. He's strong, he's fast, he's technically proficient. But what's missing? And he says, what's missing is what I have. That's a killer instinct. You don't have it, I do. I can teach it to you, but you have to embrace the vision. Now, here's the thing. I talk a lot about archetypes and archetypal stories and stuff like that, man. The magician is fantastic, right? The magician is the knower, what they call the intelligent portion of the male brain, right? You see the magician in everything from like college professors, head trainers, football coaches. When you're a leader of men, you have to create, of course, a regimen. Cult leaders, religious zealots, and stuff like that. Religious leaders, they will often have. This is why the Messiah was a cult leader, right? This is the same, essentially the same character, right? The idea is that the knower, the professor, the head coach, whatever, they have hidden knowledge that you can only really get from them, or at least they're telling you that you can only really get it from them. But you have to give something in exchange. Usually in college, you have to pay tuition, right? You pay tuition, buy textbooks, do the homework, do all this type of stuff. But in cults, oftentimes what they'll say is, if you want absolution from the Lord above, you have to give away your belongings. Give all of the money you own to me. This is what happened in Nexium, the sex cult. The guy was branding women with like his initials, but he was saying like a old Greek letter, but he was really just branding women with his initials about to prove that. And sometimes these women would like have sex with him in order to prove that they're ready for the next level and all that type of stuff. And you see this in cults all the time. This is what Seth Rollins has been doing for over a year now. He's been doing this same cult leader magician character where he's telling people he's got this secret knowledge, or how he's going to do things for the greater good. Now it's, if you embrace his vision, then he can make you a main event star. Now, he can make Cesaro the guy if you embrace his vision. Now, if you know a little bit about the Bible, about temptation, right? That you can only really be tempted by things that you desire, right? I'm pretty sure that's in the Bible. That you can't really be tempted by things you don't really desire. So Cesaro wants to go to the next level. He tells Cesaro, oh, look, you have everything it takes to grab the brass ring, to break through the glass ceiling. You got it all. But what you're missing is the one thing that I have. I have the one thing that you need. And Cesaro is being put in this position. So if you go continue with the biblical metaphor, Seth Rollins is a snake. He is the snake in the tree, telling Cesaro, whispering in his ear, all of this, he can make his dreams come true, because that's usually what the magician, the trickster, this is what they do, right? This is why I wanted to do the archetype video. I still may end up doing it. I put the pause on to do a bunch of other things. But I do want to do the archetypal videos, because there's so much that you can learn from characters, especially from like the trickster and the king and the lover. These are it's amazing stuff that you can learn. But the temptation, the person who is tempting you, almost always is either lying, which makes them manipulative, or they do have what you want, but they're going to put you through 100 hoops to get it. So in this situation, Seth Rollins really does have killer instinct. In this situation, Cesaro really does not have killer instinct. And maybe that is what Cesaro has been missing all this time, has been ruthless aggression. He's always been a very nice guy, very, fierce as a competitor, but, his main moves have been sort of the swing and the sharpshooter, and nothing that really, grinds people into dust, not anything that's particularly vicious. And and this actually proves it, because of course Cesaro, being the guy that now he's being tempted by the devil, he decides that he's not going to even spend any time talking about this. There's no point in even discussing it. He is unflappable in his refusal to embrace this vision. So he swings Seth Rollins in a circle, right? He swings. Seth Rollins comes out of his shirt. He still got the microphone somehow, but he comes out of his shirt, and he's he's coming out of his jacket. And then, of course, once he's free, he flops a little bit. He flops, because Seth Rollins is so good. That's why I'm a mark for him, right? He's really good. I think he's really underrated. So he flops around, he catches a European uppercut, takes a big bump. And Cesaro doesn't have to say anything. Seth Rollins did everything, but Cesaro came out of that segment looking like $1 million. He still doesn't look like he has ruthless aggression, the killer instinct, right? He still doesn't look like he have that, but he came out of that segment a bigger star than when he came into it, because Seth Rollins put him over. Talked about, and all of the stuff that he was saying was true. He didn't need to stretch. He didn't need to lie. Cesaro is very strong. Pound for pound, one of the strongest guys on the roster. Is technically proficient. Classically trained. Great guy. Good personality. Big. Is missing killer instinct. Right? Is missing, his style is very flashy. It's not, made to go in there and do real harm. So it is possible that he could have learned from Seth Rollins, but that would have been bad for his character. It would have been bad for him to be tempted by this evil, serpent-tongued Seth Rollins. I love this segment. This, to me, was one of the best segments of the night. Now, I know sometimes people don't like Seth Rollins when he goes through his sermons and he talks too much. Yeah, he does. So they have his promos entirely too long sometimes, but this was perfect. And they leaned into the strengths of both guys. Rollins has a strength now for character and talking and being smarmy and being slimy. And Cesaro didn't need to say anything. Now, he can talk now, obviously, but he didn't need to say anything. He let his actions speak for him, because the decision is already made. He doesn't like Seth Rollins. He made this decision a long time ago. He's just not going to change it, So where do we go from here? Can we drag this feud to WrestleMania? Cesaro said on Twitter that he wanted to have a big one-on-one match with Seth at WrestleMania, and he didn't say with who. But Seth Rollins is a guy who will get a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. He's like Randy Orton in that way. He will get a one-on-one match. Seth Rollins, you don't put him in a tag match. You don't put him in a battle royal. He's a bigger star than that. You put him in a singles match with a spotlight. Seth Rollins can get Cesaro there. The question is it going to be their first match, their second match, their third match, or whatever? I think it would probably be their second. I think they're probably going to have a match at Fastlane, and then they'll probably have the rematch at WrestleMania. And I think it would be excellent because Seth Rollins is already doing a good job of putting Cesaro over. He's not in a rush to fight Cesaro, but he's already attacked him. You know, they've already been doing this for 3 weeks already. So they're building it up. They have to blow off some of the heat eventually because I think WrestleMania is in 40 days? You know, that's a month and 10 days. You know, so you need to do something, right? So they're probably going to have at least one match and where Seth Rollins likely wins, and then Cesaro doubles back, maybe for the big match at WrestleMania. It'll probably be some kind of gimmick match. But I love this. This is fantastic. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.